Evolve Beyond Borders is proud to introduce Greene, co-founder at Remote Works Consulting, remote work leader, seasoned speaker, and co-author of Remote Works, Managing for Freedom, Flexibility, and Focus. Allie was named Remote Accelerator in the 2022 Remote Influencer Report. A digital nomad herself, let's welcome Allie as she shares her insights on why a digital nomad should be your next strategic hire in 2023 and beyond.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Hi, everybody. I'm very excited to be here today. My name is Allie, and I am the co-author of the upcoming book, Remote Works, Managing for Flexibility, Freedom, and Focus. And today I'm here to talk with you about why a digital nomad should be your strategic hire in 2023 and beyond. In the next 18 minutes or so, I'm going to go through not only my story as a longtime digital nomad, but specifically what are the benefits and challenges of hiring this group of people strategically in your remote organization. I will also include some tips for managers on how to best connect and manage this ever-changing group of people, and wrap up with some tactical information to help you and your organization get started. But first, let's bust some myths. When you think of the term digital nomad, or when you enter it into a search query online, oftentimes a picture like this might come up on your screen. People working from beaches, people that are just getting by, making money and traveling without a care in the world. And yes, while I am joining you today from a beautiful beach location, it is not true that digital nomads are just taking life, one beach, one country at a time. And it's also not true that a digital nomad is a job. These people are business owners, they're entrepreneurs, yes, freelancers and contractors, but also you can be a digital nomad as a full-time employee and as a part-time employee for a fully remote organization. I know that because that's how I got my start. So a little bit more about me. You heard my introduction as a professional, but who am I as a digital nomad? Well, I've been traveling the world full-time since 2017 and have really gotten so much of my creativity, my problem-solving skills, my inspiration, and my motivation at work because of this lifestyle. Some of the highlights in my career have happened while I've been traveling full-time. I created U.S. health benefits for an entire company while I was the director of HR and while I was also in Japan. I was the key executive while I was working on a global restructure for a company while I was located in Spain. So not only having to navigate a new language and new customs, but also helping my company learn how to navigate new teams and new coworkers. And the list goes on and on. Personally, I've gotten so much value and joy from my life. I met my business partner in South Africa, and now today we're writing a book. And I met my life partner through traveling. As a business owner, as an HR rep, as someone in management, all of these stories are for you to see that if you embrace allowing someone to bring their whole self into work, they will be more dedicated to your company, more motivated, and you never know when a crazy or challenging travel incident will actually help them do better in their job. I know for me, I have a funny story I like to share. When my first kind of exploration as a digital nomad, I was going on a day trip and I bought a bus ticket. But unfortunately, I didn't realize it was in military time. And I bought the ticket at the wrong time. And I quickly had to navigate how I was going to get home so the next day I could get on my computer and start my work. And I learned things in that experience about user experience design. How do you make things easy for people coming from different cultures looking to buy your product? I learned how to think fast on my feet, how to stay calm under stress. All of these great skills that they don't teach you in business school, that they don't teach you when you're thinking about onboarding to a new company, but that are great skills and a value add for your company. So all of this to say is that Yes, you can have it all while traveling and while helping your team and your company succeed. Let's get into some of the benefits of strategically hiring specifically digital nomads for your organization. Well, for one, you're hiring people that have a natural passion and interest to learn from different cultures and people. Why this is useful for you is that you can learn more about your potential customers in their actual target market. I remember when I was working for a company that really was all about online privacy. And I learned very quickly by wearing that company's swag at the airport in which markets did people really have a passion and care for online privacy based off of who would come up to me at the airport and start talking to me about the brand and who was excited about it and who wasn't, versus in what countries people had no idea what this brand was and where there were opportunities to educate people on the importance of this. And this data and this research was really useful for my company. And yes, it was anecdotal. Yes, it was directionary, but it was firsthand experience I had while traveling that didn't cost the organization any additional money. Another benefit is that digital nomads are always optimizing for productivity. There's really no point in traveling to a new country if you cannot enjoy the new country itself. And so nomads will quickly learn how to hack their day in order to be productive. If they're early morning birds, they'll get up and do work right in time to have a long leisurely lunch with local cuisine. They'll learn how to be efficient in meetings so that they can make sure they have time for cultural attractions while they're out and about and traveling. And they'll learn how to drop into a new city and quickly have to navigate not only where do I make sure that I have good Wi-Fi, where's a quiet co-working space to take calls, but where am I going to do my groceries and where am I going to go to the gym? And by having this always on mindset, you're hiring people that are quick to discover how to set themselves up for success. Next, it's an opportunity for increased engagement. And what I mean here is that you're really allowing people to have this sense of self-agency in designing their lifestyle. And if you provide this, it'll come back tenfold to the type of motivation, inspiration, and creativity that you have when you're hiring your people. And finally, there are tons of competitive advantages. This is simply due to all of these transferable skills that exist in a digital nomad community. So whether you're looking to hire a software engineer, a designer, or even someone like me in people ops and human resources, there's always a time where you can teach someone the technical skills of the job. But as we're seeing in 2022, 2023, and beyond, there are all of these human skills, these behaviors, and these competencies that are getting harder and harder to select for in the hiring process. And I want you to imagine for a second that you're specifically looking for some of these skills and you start hiring digital nomads intentionally. Think about what it takes to not only survive, but to be happy as a digital nomad. You have to project manage your daily logistics. You need to book flights, find accommodations that have work-friendly desks or ergonomic chairs. You need to research requirements for your travel, such as things like visas. You need to problem solve travel issues as they arrive, such as my mistake with buying the wrong bus tickets. You need to adapt quickly to your new environment and be able to adapt in a way that not only is allowing you to be there and be on this vacation mode, but adapt quickly in a way where you're going to be effective and efficient at work. Long-term digital nomads especially are people that are great at building community, making new friends, seeking out skill shares, and developing themselves professionally through community at places like co-livings and co-workings. And they do this all while still succeeding at the core requirements of the job. So that developer will still develop and solve the code mistakes and launch the products. The designer is still getting the wireframes out there and live. And if you think all of these things are a challenge, it proves to you that hiring someone who does this as a second nature in their life can bring a holistic set of skills to the table to help your company move forward and become the high-functioning remote organization that will take you into the future of work and beyond. So I'm sure all of you are thinking at this standpoint, this sounds fabulous. It's great. How do I sign up? How do I get digital nomads on board? Or maybe you're thinking, wait a second, Allie, this is all sounding too good to be true. And that is also going to be a thing you need to think of when you're including digital nomads as part of your hiring strategy. You need to think of how to make it a more inclusive environment in order to tap into these benefits. So think about things like, how are you running your asynchronous and synchronous communication? Are you centralized around a few time zones? Are you communicating that as part of your hiring process? I know from my past experiences, when I was spending a lot of time in Asia, I was communicating with people in the United States. And I always had something I like to call the most respectful meeting time. And I was aware of it in my remote organization because I knew what it felt like to also have these remote meetings in Mexico, South Africa, Europe, but it felt different when I was in different time zones. And perhaps if I had never had the opportunity to travel, I could not come up with these new solutions. And so you need to think about how you're going to talk about these things in your hiring process, how you're going to implement them in the organization, and how you're going to set expectations from the get-go. Of course, there's more tactical challenges as well that as an HR leader, you need to be prepared to answer. The top 3 things that I see when it comes to hiring digital nomads abroad are things like, is your company set up to handle taxes and compliance? Do you understand when an employee, if you're hiring them as a full-time employee or a contractor, will be triggering things like paying taxes abroad? How do you discuss that and set up policies in your organization? Lucky for you now, there are a plethora of companies that can help you navigate these ever-changing global issues. And so as an HR rep, you do not have to go through the pain of learning these things alone. Another challenge you need to consider is, what is your total benefits package? If you're offering a benefit such as a co-working package, how do you offer that to an employee who's always changing locations and wants to go to many different co-working spaces over the year? How do you make benefits that are inclusive, not only for your local employees, but for your global employees? And these are things that will make you more advantageous in the hiring process and the recruitment process, and help you better understand the needs long-term for things like learning and development, retention, and more. And so if you're an HR rep considering hiring digital nomads, it's important to understand what are the unique benefits that might be interesting to them, and do they compete or complement the current benefits that you offer all of your employees? And the third challenge you need to be aware of is the constant change that this is going to mean for not only this person, but their team and their manager. Go back to the example that I shared with you around me changing time zones. And this is all while I was managing a team of 5 people in Europe and in the United States. As a company, have you taught people how to set expectations around things like meeting times, core working hours, communication styles and preferences, how to give feedback? And one of the things you should talk about with your digital nomad employees and all of your employees is what happens when these situations change. Do you reschedule the times of meetings because people's time zones have been readjusted? Do you need to change who owns certain projects based off of the needs of the group and the other stakeholders involved? Are you going to take a location-based approach or a location-agnostic approach when it comes to working with things like clients, with external partners and vendors, and more? The more you think about these things in advance and build them into your HR policies and procedures, the more you can be prepared to make that strategic hire a digital nomad in the future. You also need to think about how to manage this person. So when it comes to managing a digital nomad, it's important to know that there's lots of ways to support your employee as they're looking into having a digital nomad life. There's not, one size fits all when it comes to wanting to combine work and travel. And so there's a lot of creative ways that already your organization can approach thinking about this in the future. So for people that want to dip their toes in that nomad life water, you might offer a package for your employees, such as a digital nomad policy as part of your HR package. Someone who wants to combine some of their working holidays with work days. So instead of taking a 2-week vacation, they make it a month, blending 2 weeks of vacation with 2 weeks of work in a foreign location. And I've seen companies have policies similar to this where they allow up to 60 travel days a year for people like digital nomads. This can also mean that people have time to extend visits home to see family, or even explore nomad mentalities in their own home and thinking about how does that bring, again, all of those benefits we discussed, the creativity, the problem solving, the innovation, the networking and talking with other people, and how do you have that for people that are staying just in their own hometown? Maybe as an organization, you provide benefits to cater for people to go work in different locations throughout the week, or to have in-person meetups with other coworkers that they are in similar geographical areas with, and having these meetups be opportunities to connect and collaborate. And when you think of your strategic hiring plan, while these things might then lean into things like extra perks or benefits or things like the team culture, ultimately it comes down to creating the values in your organization that you solidify through these standard operating behaviors and can reflect in your job postings, the expectations, who you're looking to hire and how. And all of those things are important, especially as the nomad world continues to expand for people that, for example, have families that really want to live in a remote location outside of cities, people that you might hire that have the van life, for example, which is something we're seeing that's quite interesting. So there's lots of ways to be creative, and the more creative you can be in your organization, experiment, see what works for you, document that, and put it into your strategic hiring plan, the more you can appeal to this digital nomad community for your next amazing hire. So that was a really fast and tons of information, all to say that if you're really looking to break boundaries and evolve into the future of work, I urge you to consider a digital nomad as your next strategic hire. For the simple reasons that, yes, while there are challenges such as thinking about how to manage their ever-changing lifestyle or handle things like the changing complexity of tax and compliance, the types of benefits you'll get, such as learning from different cultures and people, optimizing for productivity, increased engagement, and those soft skills will be so beneficial to your organization. So thank you so much for listening today to my presentation, and I'd love for you all to stay in touch with me. Again, my name is Greene, and I am the co-author of Remote Work's book. Have a wonderful day.